How's it going? How's it going, everybody? What is up? It's another episode of the Balko Show. I'm your host. Come on now, y'all. Mike Balko. You already know the drill, but today I'm very excited to announce my guest. He's the anchor of the Ball State defense, one of the best tacklers in the NCAA, and he's 2020's Arizona Bowl defensive MVP, amongst many other collegiate awards. Bryce Cosby, how we doing today, my man?
Good, can't complain. Blessed, just happy to be on here. Thanks for having me.
Yes, sir. I appreciate you hopping on today. Literally, I messaged Bryce yesterday. I was like, hey, bro, I want to get you on my podcast. And he hopped on the next day. So, we're making quick work of this. First and foremost, we got to rep that area code. Tell us about your hometown of Louisville, Kentucky, and what makes it so unique.
Oh, man, Louisville, it's a very special place to me. Like you said, it's my hometown. Grew up, I feel like it taught me a lot. It taught me resiliency. It kind of gave me the mentality I needed to take the field and, try to, assert my dominance on every play. But more so, I feel like it just trains you to kind of have that underdog mentality. Here lately, not just in sports, but in, all phases, we've kind of seen people from Louisville kind of sprout out and, make a name for themselves on a more global, worldwide stage. But, when I was growing up in, middle school, high school, it seemed like a lot of the talent in Louisville was, kind of being overlooked. There's guys who's older than me, 2016 class, 2015 class, and even earlier than that I feel like, I looked up to when I was in middle school, elementary school, and, I just feel like they didn't get the same opportunity I did. So considering I got the opportunity, I just wanted to take advantage of it. But, Louisville's a very special place in my heart. It taught me a lot of life lessons. And yeah, I'm forever grateful. And I feel like, my city is a big reason I'm where I'm at today.
Yeah, most definitely. I know I've seen a lot of people have seen your kind of like your whole story up to this point on like Ball State's YouTube channel, but kind of tell us a little bit about your recruiting story out of high school and how you kind of ended up at Ball State.
Yeah, so I went to Manual High School, which is right on Louisville's campus in Louisville. So it was always unique, being right there on Louisville's campus when Lamar was doing his thing at Louisville. You were right in the mix. But I went to Manual High School. My freshman year, I was actually playing quarterback, and I moved to play DB, corner in specific, to my sophomore year, and I was starting varsity. I think I played like the first 6 games and suffered a broken collarbone. So that was unfortunate, but, I was able to get some experience. And, looking back, it was probably the best thing that could have happened to me because it gave me a longer off season. I was able to train, get ready for, what I had planned as the biggest year of my high school career in my junior year because, I knew I wanted to go D1, and I knew to do that, you need to have a really good junior year. So by your senior year, you're not scrambling, trying to get offers and things of that nature. So yeah, I put in a lot of work going into my junior year. I think that's when I really, really started to take the whole football thing super serious, just in terms of doing extra work on my own, really trying to hone in on my craft. And, I was able to reap the benefits of that. I had a very good junior year, had 8 picks at corner, 3 of them for touchdowns. We won a decent amount of games my junior year. And like I said earlier, it was growing up in Louisville, it was just kind of a slower process for me, and then I never really – I didn't know I was considered small until, the college coaches started coming around, because that's just not something I think about when I take the field. So between, being from Louisville, not really a hotbed for coaches to come in terms of recruiting, and then, not being your typical 6-foot guy that they want at corner at that time, it was kind of hard in terms of just getting recruited, getting people to see what I saw, and, getting people to take a chance on me. So there was a lot of lower level Division I offers. I had an offer from all the military schools, Air Force, Army, Navy. I had Ball State. Eastern Kentucky was my first offer. I had Western Kentucky, and who else? I had Georgia State. A couple other schools I'm probably missing, but
you didn't even have Louisville?
Nah, they said too small.
That's wild.
Yeah. So yeah, I didn't have any Power 5 offers, so really just kind of took that one on the chin and made it up in my mind. I'll take advantage of whatever opportunity I'm given at whatever other institution it is. And so, Ball State was just the most consistent in terms of my recruiting. They were calling me weekly. Coach Doherty, our special teams coach and tight ends coach, he's still here. He was calling me almost every day, just checking in with me, seeing how things were going. They were sending me edits, in high school. You love those. Sending me edits, and just seemed like I was a priority there, that they were genuinely interested. And, the proximity to home wasn't that far. And so it was kind of everything just matched up the way it needed to. And then as far as, the academic, I was leaning towards being in sports commentating, and David Letter, he put a lot of money into the school for that area. So, it all kind of just worked out.
Yeah, that's what's up. And you making all these two small schools pay because you've been balling out, my man. I'm about to list your stats real quick. 316 tackles, 16 TFLs, 9 picks, 13 PDs, 3 fumble recoveries, amongst other things as well. You've been balling in college, bro. That's just to say the least. What are your plans, not only for the rest of the season you're currently in, but after the season as well?
Yeah, really, I'm just taking it a game at a time. Like you said, I'm just trying to help my team do whatever we can as a unit to get better each and every week. That's my main focus right now. After the season, I'll approach that, when it comes and kind of just take it a day at a time like I am right now for the season. But, the hopes are that, I can take my chances and try to go to the next level. But, as far as right now, just work, getting better daily, not only individually, but more importantly as a defense and as a team. Try to get back to where we finished last year in terms of a conference championship and a bowl game. So, yeah, really just focusing on getting better every day, trying to stack games and show continuous improvement.
Yeah, so last year, you guys had a damn good squad. You were crowned the champs of the MAC, man. What was that moment like for you and your teammates?
I mean, it was huge. Anybody who's followed us these past 4 years, they know the story. That starting off in 2017, we were all playing as true freshmen. We were all probably out there a little bit too early, but that's just how it had to go. And we took some true beatings in 2017. We lost games 63-7, 55-7. It was hard. It was probably the toughest year of my life in terms of just the football aspect because things weren't as fun, and you're losing, and losing is never fun. So it really tested us mentally and physically in terms of having to withstand the whole coming from high school. You might play 8 or 9 weeks. Now you're playing 12 weeks. It's a longer season, so we were definitely tested early, and to see that come. And you fast forward to our senior year with the COVID season, and being able to completely flip the script. Finish 7-1, win the MAC, and then go to win the Arizona bowl game, first bowl game in school history. It's something that all the older guys and the guys I came in with and the guys that are a year above me will cherish forever because we all went through the same hardships, and the fact that we stuck together and the bond only got stronger. Kind of speaks to just our team chemistry and resilience, and we were able to reap the benefits of just seeing it through and sticking to the process. So the bowl game and the MAC championship is definitely two of my favorite moments as far as in my football career that I've been able to experience thus far.
Yeah, for sure. We got to get to know you a little bit outside of football now. Who you bumping to pregame?
Pregame. There's a couple people on the list. G Herbo, he's definitely getting played. ESTG, he's definitely getting played. Some old Wayne, that'll get played. Future's in the mix. So yeah, it's a little bit of, it's kind of a variety, but
you coming to take some heads off out there, my boy.
I'm definitely trying to get into that mode before the game, for sure.
Yes, sir. In your opinion, you can skip this one if you want, but in your opinion, who are the best 3 safeties in the league right now?
The best 3 safeties in the league right now? Tyrann Mathieu, Derwin James. That third one is hard. It can go to a couple different people. But I'm gonna rock out with the smaller guys, so I'm gonna go Buda Baker. Buda Baker.
Oh, Buda Baker. Saw him play in high school. It was crazy. I used to live up there in North Bend, Washington. Saw Buda Baker just completely dominate Mount Sinai High School as a member of the Bellevue. Don't even remember their name anymore. It's been a while, but him and Miles Jack were just lighting us up back in the day. Yeah, Buda Baker, he's a dog out there. You play a lot like all of those dudes, bro. So listen, it's just fate.
Mm-hmm.
Who is the best player you've ever played with and against in your entire football career? You can take it back to high school, little gritters, doesn't matter.
Best player I've played with, I'll say two. One of them was in high school. His name's Jalen Carter. He currently plays receiver for Louisville. Just a freak athlete, 6'1", 6'2", 220 pounds, 4'4", laser 40. Can high point the ball, seen him make crazy catches. Just one of those guys that, amazes you. And you never know what he's going to do next. So that's one, Jalen Carter in high school. And then two, I'll probably say Justin Hall, guy I'm playing with right now. He plays slot. Just another freak athlete. The stuff I've witnessed him do the past 4 years is straight up ridiculous. Hurdling people, running people over that he's much shorter, smaller than. He just plays with that true dog mentality. I rarely do you see him get tackled, one-on-one, just a solo tackle. And so, he's a big play waiting to happen. So those are the first two for people I've played with and played against. I'll say Deontay Johnson from Toledo. He was as advertised, just in terms of just could make you miss. Had long speed. Then I got Eskridge from Western Michigan this past year, who just got drafted by the Seahawks. He was another guy that was definitely fun to compete against, and one of the best that I've been able to compete against, just in terms of you're seeing the speed firsthand. And so I would say those two guys are guys that stuck out to me.
Yeah, those definitely some dogs. All right, so we gotta ask, because that's kind of, this next question is kind of like what my show's about. It's because my show's always just kind of been about overcoming adversity, how you do it, how you can help other people do it. So what is the biggest piece of adversity that you've had to face or overcome, whether it's in your life, whether it's on the football field, doesn't matter, whichever way you want to take it, and how did you do so?
I think for me, the biggest adversity I had to deal with growing up was just always constantly being overlooked, doubted. It's a mixture of that and then kind of dealing with injuries early on. Both of those kind of go hand in hand. Start with just being doubted. I put a lot of time and work in high school. Sacrificed a lot. I felt like I was doing my part in terms of honing in on my game, making sure I was being the best player that I could be on a daily basis. I feel like I was somebody that was obsessed with the game. I was making all the social sacrifices. And in terms of the sacrifices I was making, I didn't feel like it was matching up with the results, just in terms of scholarships, stars, stuff that really doesn't matter, but, it's important to you when you're in high school. And so, a lot of people get discouraged by that. They'll simply just stop working hard because they feel like it was all for nothing. But, I'm here to tell any young guys out there who, are struggling with, not getting the attention they deserve, considering that they've put the work in and, they know in their hearts of hearts that, they've done everything possible that they can control in terms of being the best player that they can be. And it still might not be what you wanted to yet. I'm here to tell you that, that work is still very important because that's what sets you up in the future. All the work matters. The work that you're doing when you're a nobody, to me, is almost as important as the work as you're doing when you make a name for yourself, because that's what's going to put you in the position. So when your number is called, the world can see what you've already known because you put the work in, but now they can become a witness to it. And so for me, it was always overcoming the doubters, the naysayers, and staying true to myself and understanding that this work will pay off. I just got to keep being the best version of me I can, and that's tough. It's definitely hard to keep going, especially when we don't have anything physical. No accolades, there's no awards, there's no All-American game in high school, there's no Power 5 offers. But I just always tell myself it's a marathon, not a sprint. So you don't try to chase down the competition in a split second. It's just a gradual work your way up, and eventually you'll be in those conversations. And then the injury aspect, it's a part of the game. It's something that's definitely discouraging. I had a knee injury and a shoulder injury, and so just the whole rehab process and trying to make sure that you come back not the same, but even try to come back a better player. There's long days and physical therapy, and you're questioning if you'll get back and be the same. But for me, I just try to always keep a positive attitude, take things a day at a time. Reassure myself that through prayer and hard work, everything will work itself out. And at the end of the day, what's meant to be will be. And so, I just try to live my life. I don't try to get into comparisons too much of me and the next guy. I just try to control what I can control. And, after that, I'll just let everything else take care of itself. So.
Facts. Yeah, I appreciate that, man. That's crazy. Yeah, it's never easy whenever you're just constantly being overlooked, especially at such a young age, man. And you're doing just a great job of overcoming it. And you're an inspiration out here, my man. So with that being said, Bryce, one last question for you. I end this question with every single person I've ever had on my show. What kind of advice can you give to the young athletes out there that are looking to be in the same shoes as you, man? They want to take their talents to the next level. What kind of advice can you give to those guys?
For me, it would be, and this is going to be a super cliche answer, but I would say just, you got to work hard. And, I'm not going to be like some people and say work hard and just leave you with that. Because, I remember when I was younger and people would say, you got to work hard. I'd be like, well, what do you mean work hard? Like, give me an example. So, when I say that, it's more so, you got to do stuff that's really not asked of you. When you join a team, everyone has mandatory team workouts, things of that nature, things that your coaches are expecting you to do. It's on the schedule and whatnot. But you got to take things a step further and, assess yourself, get other people's opinions about your game, where they feel like there's loopholes at, where you feel like you need to get better, and then take it upon yourself to do that on your own time, away from the team, and really get those extra hours in while, everybody else might be done with the team workout. They might go home, play video games, this, that, and the third. If you really want it like you say you want it, then, you got to make those sacrifices and put the extra work in by yourself. It's going to be times where, you got to stand alone. You're, basically isolated. I feel like most of the times I'm working out, I'm by myself, honestly. And once you get used to doing that, you get in the flow of it, and you really buy into the whole situation of you being, in the dungeon by yourself, and you really buy into that. Like I said, I feel like you'll soon start to gravitate, and you'll see the benefits of it. Like I said, you just working hard, making the sacrifices, and setting yourself apart by doing the things that's not typically asked. And so, when I was younger, I was doing extra footwork drills, extra position drills. I was a sponge, to say the least. Any information I could get, YouTube, all the trainers' videos on Instagram, whatever information I could seek out. My favorite players, like I said, I'm a big fan of Tyrann Mathieu. Can't tell you how many times I've watched his highlights. Just try to take pieces from everybody's game and, find a way to fit it into yours and make it a little bit more unique and, put your own type of flavor on it. So, I would just say, you got to work hard. You got to make sacrifices, and you got to be a sponge. Don't be afraid to ask questions, and just try to seek as much information about your position and the game of football in general as much as you can to put yourself in the best situation possible when it's time to play.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Bryce, thank you so much for hopping on the show today. Where can everyone follow you out on social media?
Oh yeah, you can follow me on Twitter. If you just search my name, Bryce Cosby, it should pop up. But I think it's underscore bcos5, and then the same goes for Instagram. So yeah, if you search my name, you should be able to find me.
Yes, sir. I'm super excited to watch your journey. I appreciate you hopping on the show today, man. And man, I'm excited to see how the rest of the season pans out. And you got a bright future ahead of you, and I'm super excited to see it come to fruition for you.
Yeah, appreciate you having me on the show. Like I said, thank you so much. It's definitely a pleasure.
Yes, sir. Likewise.